Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm here with.
Hey, Jen Cohn. I am the voice of Pharah in OverWatch. I'm also known as Lord Zash from Star Wars: The Old Republic, and as Ursa in Avatar: The Last Airbender, Zuko's mom.
Now, I'm glad you brought up all of these projects here, because a lot of them are just really just like over the top, just phenomenal work you've done.
Thank you.
Now, I wanted to get a little bit more into like detail with like the characters you've done, such as Pharah. She has played such a huge part in like geek culture, not just for gamers, but just for like women and people of color, and like I like to like often say Overwatch helped like grow diversity in video games because they have a rich culture of people. How did it feel just voicing a female, like, excuse my language, just a female as badass as her?
Oh, it's a blessing, and I think that that's a very appropriate way to refer to her. You know what I always say with Pharah, what's so much fun about her, or one of the many things that's really fun about her, is that unlike so many other female characters in, you know, in comic book or video gaming lore, she's like not in a catsuit, like busting out of it, you know, all boobs and behinds and the whole thing. Like the idea of having a badass female hero in armor who's strong, who isn't about TNA, is so refreshing and nice. And the fact that she's like clear-minded and just focused on justice and isn't coming after anyone with a vengeance, and it isn't like riddled with self-doubt. It's a very good, strong character play, and I think that she's a really good role model.
And one of the things I really do love about her as well, I'm a little biased because I am a Pharah main myself.
You are, yay!
It's just in a lot of like video games or a lot of like industry, in the industry in general, when you have a strong female lead, there's often times where she'll fall for the John Doe or like this like husk of a man. But it doesn't seem to be that case with her. She did.
So far, so good.
Yeah, like.
So far, she's doing okay. Yeah.
She's really strong, independent, and like doesn't need a crutch to rely on somebody.
Which is nice. Which is nice.
Now, when you first auditioned for Pharah, did you have any idea just like of how much this game would blow up? Because I know Blizzard has an amazing track record of having consistency with amazing games.
I had absolutely not a clue. No idea, not even an iota. And after I did the first session, my agent said to me, I think this is going to be a big deal. And I went like, whatever, we'll see. Okay, great. And I had no idea. And it wasn't until it was, I think while I was in beta, I didn't even know how big it was until like I started having people try to get in touch with me to do interviews and like, I don't know, get in touch with me that I knew that it was a big deal. I had no idea.
Now, are you a video gamer yourself, or do you just mainly like to voice?
I'm a really bad video gamer, so no, I'm not a good video gamer. I play some, I play a little, but I'm not like a gamer.
Have you ever like just tried out your character and like,
yes,
oh.
And I have such bad hand-eye coordination, I can barely keep her in the air. I always try. Not very good.
Well, you know what? I could vouch for that because keeping her in the air is quite difficult.
Dude, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Some people make it look easy.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, yeah. Valkia, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a very famous Pharah player. He's telling me that when I come to England, he's going to teach me how, but I'm wondering when this is going to happen because I'm like dying to learn something.
Now, there's something I've been very particular with voice actors. It's something that a lot of people will glance over. They don't realize that, like, oh, maybe you were the voice of my childhood. You voiced this, and it's not an easy industry to break into. Can you go a little bit more into detail of like how you came to be a voice actress and like how that's changed your life?
This is a hilarious question. I've been voice acting for many years. I wanted in bad. I hustled my butt off. It was not an easy, quick ride at all. I started with doing really terrible jobs, and I had terrible agents in the very beginning, and I gradually, slowly, I got better, and I got okay agents, and I freelanced with an alright agent, and then I finally got good agents, and it takes forever to book a job when you're like learning all this, so like I had good agents who like represented me for years, but I didn't book anything, and I did that for a long time, and then finally, like, it hit. I started booking a lot, and then I got even better agents, and and it's been the most fun career in the world. I mean, it was a well-earned, great, fun, very grateful, never taken for granted stroke of luck and hard work.
Well, it's clear you're very talented in what you do.
Thank you.
And you're just as lovely as you are in the video games.
That's so nice. Thank you very much. Thank you for being so sweet.
Yeah, no worries. How would you describe like the difference between working in a video game studio as opposed to working in an animated studio? Because you said you worked on shows as well, correct?
Well, when you do animation, you tend to be in the room with all the people, and that's really fun. It has its own energy, and you're all together, so you're playing off each other, which definitely gives a certain rat-a-tat quality to how the show comes out. I live in New York, so I've done a bunch of shows not in the room with everyone, and you see the difference. It's better when you're in the room than when you're not in the room. It can be good, but it's always better when you're there. With video games, you're never in the room with anyone. You're by yourself. You're by yourself. You don't have a script. You just have a list of lines. So you're just going line by line by line, and you have only a voice director and usually a writer to give you a sense of context of what you're responding to, what this is about, what this is, and so you're sort of acting in a vacuum. And it's a very different experience. And sometimes it's it's as thrilling and it's different. Because again, you have to create the whole world in your imagination. It's not about the energy between the people, and it's not about understanding the arc of the script.
There's something I wanted to ask. I'm sorry if this comes off as informal, but you just described right now that sometimes, in video games, you're in the booth by yourself.
Yeah.
Do you find it awkward having a full-on one-sided conversation with yourself at times?
No, not at all. That part's fine. I never mind that. That part's actually really fun. Because what's nice, actually, is if you're able to imagine the relationship that you have with whoever it is you're having this conversation with, if you have any sense of their relationship to you, then you know how you might respond to them. I love doing that. I don't mind that at all.
Are there any particular characters or not particular characters, like franchises, shows, or video games, anything in animation or video games that you'd love to be a part of or something?
I dream of being the utility player doing all of the female voices on South Park. So, Trey, Matt, if you are watching this video, if you are listening.
Knock on wood.
These pipes. I would love to be the utility player. My favorite are jobs where I get to do a whole bunch of different characters, different voices, different ages, that's my favorite. So that's the dream job.
Do you remember your first voice acting job that got you really noticed?
That got me really noticed?
Yes, the one that kind of put you on the map a little bit. Or would you say it was a series of collective work that?
It's probably a series of collective work. I mean, the way that it's worked for me more has been that a certain producer or writer or show creator has gotten to know me from a job and then has called me in for another job and then has called me in. It's you build relationships with people who know you're good at what you do. But the first big job I ever did was Ursa from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And when I got that job, I knew it was a big job. I didn't know the show, but I knew it was a big deal. And I was being directed by a famous voice director named Andrea Romano, who is one of the best voice directors in the history of the industry. And I was so nervous, and she was so nice to me, and I had a really good time working with her, but I'd never worked with someone who was so precise, so fast, and knew exactly what to say to me, and was like, go. And it's one of those moments where you've been doing it as long as you're doing it in order to be ready for something like that. And I had no idea how lasting an impact that job would end up having. That, I meet people today who, when I say that I was that character, are like, oh my God. It's affected people's lives. And I had no idea when I did it that that's where it was going. But I knew that show was a big deal.
I think that's probably a really good point to end this. But just one last thing.
Yeah.
If there's anything to any aspiring voice actors, actresses, what would you tell them?
Don't stop. Go through the wall. Keep trying things. Keep experimenting. No never means no. No just means, unless in cases of consent. Consent, no means no. But in business, when someone says no, it just means that person doesn't know how to help you. Just keep going. And have fun. It's got to be fun.
Well, thank you for everything.
Big pleasure.